I can tell you two things. Certainly, all of the decisions are made on sort of an ethical framework about where the vaccines get rolled out. But it all boils down to the fact that we need the federal government to step up. Quite frankly, when you look at the United States doing 200 million vaccines, Britain doing 30 million vaccines, and here in Canada, we haven't even hit 5 million yet. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just telling you the facts. That's where
Well,
we
you are
are.
pointing fingers, Vic. You're pointing fingers at the federal government, is what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't mean to be pointing fingers. I'm just trying to outline the facts as they are. And the fact is, we need more vaccines here in Canada, and we need them here in Ontario.
But what about the fact that a place like, Temiskaming, New Liskeard, which is the Temiskaming area, Kirkland Lake, they have the ability to distribute and inoculate people at various drugstores, and we can't. It's only an hour and a half north of us.
Yeah, I spoke with the premier and the health table about those very issues this weekend and again today. Again, the fact that they're moved into a different framework now, they're trying to give the attention to those places that are in those frameworks. But I've said to them, look, at the end of the day, we need more vaccines in Ontario, and you will see us push here to roll out. These are not political decisions that are made about who gets what. But I've said to him, I appreciate that, Premier, but we need to have some sort of a standardization right across the province where, if people are doing vaccinations 70 and above, then it should be right across all of Ontario. If they're doing it 75 and above, it should be everywhere. We shouldn't have that ability, if you will, to pick and choose.
But that falls responsibility-wise on your government and the rollout of the vaccines.
Well, a lot has to do with the individual health, public health units as well. And what I've said to the Premier is we should be standardizing the age or whatever, the distribution of the vaccine. We should be standardizing that right across Ontario. And I hope that you'll see some movement even as early as this week on that.
But breaking news about AstraZeneca, there's a lot of concerns about that vaccine out there, Vic. I mean, I was just reading that PEI doesn't want to give it to people between the ages of 19 and 31, and now the 55 age range has come into play, or that boundary, and you're getting a bunch of AstraZeneca vaccine from the States, so is it just going to sit idle?
Well, I don't think it's going to sit idle. I think the advice of the health sector is that it not be used for anybody under 55, and I think that we'll respect that, certainly take their advice. So I think you'll see direction on that coming out in the future. But look, I'd like to see vaccines administered here in our drugstores, a couple of our drugstores as early as possible. We continue to push for more vaccines. Again, it's not a political decision who gets them. It's based on the ethical framework. I'm just pushing for more vaccines here in Canada. I've heard we've given you 2.3 million and you've only used 1.8. Of course, there's 500,000 vaccines. We're going through, almost 80,000 vaccines a day. That's only a few days. So we don't have more vaccines than we have people that have booked for those vaccines. So there's no vaccines sitting on a shelf anywhere waiting. They're sitting on they're going into the arms of people as quickly as possible. So anybody that has one scheduled, that's what those vaccines are there for.
But again, you just kind of referenced it, but there's been a lot of talk out there by your opponents that there are 640,000 vaccines that are just in storage, not going anywhere, and Doug Ford is hoarding them.
Yeah, so just think about it for a second. When we're putting 82,000 doses a day, that's very few days supply. We've booked people out for more than 2 weeks. So the people that have booked, that's who these doses are for. They're not as if they're being hoarded somewhere. They've got a name attached. Every one of those that's on a shelf has somebody's name and date and time attached to it.